You've spent months perfecting your strategy, backtested it hundreds of times. The win rate is stellar. Then real money hits the table and you freeze. That perfect entry, you hesitate. The stop loss, you move it, just this once. The winning trade, you exit early out of panic. 3 months later, you're staring at a blown account, wondering what went wrong. Here's the truth: the market won't tell you your strategy was never the problem. Your inability to execute it was. Without discipline, even Wyckoff's methods become worthless theories. I watched a brilliant operator in 1907, sharp as they come. He'd studied every accumulation pattern, understood composite operator behavior better than most. When panic hit that October, he spotted the perfect reaccumulation phase forming in Reading Railroad. The setup was textbook. But when prices shook out one final time, he couldn't pull the trigger. Fear owned him. 2 days later, the markup began without him. He knew what to do but couldn't do it. I've seen this destroy more traders than market crashes ever did. Your method means nothing if you abandon it under pressure. The composite operator wins because he executes his plan with ice-cold discipline every single time. Knowledge without execution is worthless. I've seen it 1,000 times. A trader walks into my office with notebooks full of chart studies. He can identify every spring, every upthrust, every test. He speaks fluently about the composite operator's methods, recites the laws of supply and demand like scripture. His analysis is flawless. Then I ask him one question: show me your account. The silence tells me everything. 3 months of losses despite knowing exactly what the market would do. Here's what paralyzes you. You spot the accumulation phase forming. The volume confirms it. The price action validates it. But then doubt creeps in. What if this time is different? What if I'm wrong? What if I lose this capital? So you wait for more confirmation, and more, and more. By the time you finally convince yourself, the markup is already halfway complete. You knew the right move at the right time, but you didn't take it. Let me be direct with you. The market doesn't reward scholars, it rewards operators. Understanding Wyckoff principles, chart patterns, or whatever modern indicator your platform offers means absolutely nothing if you cannot translate that understanding into decisive action. You can watch every YouTube tutorial, read every trading book, backtest every setup until your eyes blur, but the moment real capital enters the equation, all that knowledge evaporates if discipline isn't there to anchor it. Think about what's really happening. The composite operator, today you might call them institutional traders, algorithms, market makers. They operate on systematic execution. When their criteria are met, they act. No hesitation, no second guessing, no emotional committee meetings. Their edge isn't superior knowledge. Every professional sees the same charts. Their edge is relentless execution of their method, trade after trade, win or loss, without deviation. You already possess enough knowledge to succeed. Right now, today, that perfect entry setup you're studying. You've seen it 50 times. You know when to enter, where to place your stop, what your profit target should be. The information isn't your problem. Your inability to act on that information is destroying you. Here's your path forward. Take your strategy, the one you've backtested, the one you intellectually trust, and commit to executing it with mechanical precision for the next 100 trades. Not 80 trades, not until it stops working. 100 consecutive executions without deviation. No skipping trades because you're nervous. No adjusting stops because the market feels different. No taking profits early because you're afraid of giving gains back. Document every single trade. You'll discover something profound. A mediocre strategy executed with unwavering discipline will build your account. A brilliant strategy executed randomly will destroy it. The composite operator already knows this. That's why he's taking your money while you're still studying. Stop being a student. Start being an operator. Your knowledge is sufficient. Your execution is what needs work. The market tests your character, not your intelligence. You've placed your position, stop loss set exactly where your analysis dictates. Then the market does what it always does, it moves against you. Hard fast, your screen bleeds red. That stop loss sits there, waiting to be triggered, and every fiber of your being screams to move it. Just a few more points. You tell yourself, this is just a shakeout, I know this pattern. Your hand hovers over the mouse. The pressure builds. What do? This is the moment, not when you're analyzing charts in hindsight, not when you're paper trading with imaginary money. This exact moment, when real capital is evaporating before your eyes, this is when the market reveals who you truly are. And here's what most traders never grasp. The composite operator engineered this moment specifically for you. Every violent move against your position, every stop run that triggers you out before reversing, every false breakout that looks perfect until it isn't, these aren't random. In my era, the large operators would deliberately push prices through known stop levels to shake out weak hands before the real move began. Today, your algorithms and high-frequency traders do the same thing with far more precision. They can see the concentration of stop losses. They know where retail traders are positioned, and they systematically exploit that information. The test isn't whether you can identify the accumulation phase on a chart from last month. A child could do that. The test is whether you can maintain your predetermined rules when the market is specifically designed to make you abandon them. When that stop loss is about to hit and you know the reversal is coming, can you let it execute? When you're sitting on a winner and every instinct tells you to lock in profits before they disappear, can you hold for your actual target? When you've taken 3 consecutive losses and the 4th setup appears, can you take the trade? This is why most traders fail. They believe intelligence is the edge. They think if they just study harder, analyze deeper, find the secret indicator, they'll crack the code. But I'm telling you plainly, the composite operator isn't smarter than you. He simply possesses something you don't: unshakable adherence to his method regardless of short-term outcomes. His character has been forged through thousands of trades. Yours fractures at the first sign of discomfort. Your strategy is being stress-tested every single day, not by market conditions, but by your emotional responses to those conditions. The question isn't whether your method works, it's whether you can work your method when everything inside you is screaming to deviate. Here's your reality check. Build your character before the market breaks it. Start small. Trade sizes so inconsequential that emotional reactions become impossible. Execute your complete system, entry, stop, target, 50 times without any deviation. Not until it becomes comfortable, until it becomes automatic, until your discipline is stronger than your fear, greed, and hope combined. The composite operator will keep engineering these tests. Your survival depends on passing them. Consistency compounds, brilliance doesn't. You hit that perfect trade, caught the bottom of the accumulation phase, rode it through the entire markup. Your account jumped 20% in a single week. You feel invincible. The market finally makes sense. You start calculating, if you can do this just once a month, you'll be retired in a year. Then the next month comes. You take 3 trades. 1 wins small, 2 lose. The month after that, you're frozen waiting for another perfect setup like that big winner. 6 months later, you're exactly where you started, wondering where that magic went. I'll tell you where it went: nowhere. Because it never existed in the first place. That one brilliant trade was noise. Random success that taught you the most dangerous lesson, that spectacular wins matter. They don't. Not in the way you think. Let me show you what actually builds wealth in this business. You have 2 operators. The first possesses genuine talent. He can read the tape beautifully, spots brilliant setups, and when he trades, he often wins big. But he's selective. He waits for perfection. Some weeks he takes 5 trades, other weeks none. His month-to-month performance is erratic. The second operator, thoroughly average. His setups are textbook, nothing special. But every single day, he executes his method. Same risk, same rules, same mechanical process. He takes every valid signal his system generates without exception. After a year, the brilliant trader might have 30 exceptional trades on his record. The consistent trader has 240 mediocre ones. Who do you think has more capital? The consistent operator wins. Every single time. Not because his individual trades are better, but because he's allowed mathematics to work in his favor. A 55% win rate executed 240 times with proper risk management compounds into substantial wealth. 30 brilliant trades, no matter how perfect, are just 30 data points. Not enough volume for edge to express itself. This is what destroys talented traders. They become addicted to the spectacular. They remember that one perfect bottom they picked, that one ideal breakout they caught. So they wait for that feeling again. They skip the standard setups because they're not quite right. They watch dozens of valid signals pass by, holding out for the exceptional one. Meanwhile, their account stagnates because they're not giving their edge enough opportunities to work. Here's what you must internalize: your edge is statistical, not magical. It only reveals itself across hundreds of executions. That brilliant setup you're waiting for. It's costing you the 20 average setups you're ignoring. Those average setups, taken consistently with disciplined risk management, would have grown your account 15% while you waited for perfection. Stop hunting for the perfect trade. Start executing your system with boring, relentless consistency. Trade your plan today, tomorrow, next week, next month. The composite operator doesn't look for brilliance. He applies his method repeatedly until the mathematics inevitably works in his favor. Small edges, executed with unwavering consistency, create the only wealth that lasts. Your job isn't to be spectacular. It's to be systematic. Your worst enemy sits between your ears. You just closed a winner. A beautiful trade. Everything went exactly as planned. Your account is up, confidence is soaring, and suddenly every chart looks like an opportunity. You spot another setup. It's not quite your A-F signal, maybe a B at best, but you're hot right now. You enter. Then another one appears. Your position sizing creeps up because you can feel the market today. By day's end, you've turned a disciplined win into 3 impulsive losses. Your daily profit is gone, plus some. Sound familiar? Or perhaps it's the opposite. You take a loss, a valid stop out on a perfectly good setup, but now you're staring at that red number. It gnaws at you. The next signal appears, textbook entry, everything aligned, but you can't pull the trigger. What if I'm wrong again? So you watch. The trade runs exactly to target without you. Now you're angry at yourself, which makes the next decision even worse. This cycle continues until you're either revenge trading or completely paralyzed. Here's what's actually happening. Your strategy isn't the problem. The composite operator isn't outmaneuvering you. The market conditions are fine. The sabotage is coming from inside your own mind, and it's far more destructive than any external force you'll ever face. When you win, your brain releases chemicals that make you feel invincible. Overconfidence takes over. You start seeing patterns that aren't there. You convince yourself you've figured it out. Your discipline, the very thing that produced the win, gets abandoned because you feel you've transcended the need for rules. This is your greed speaking, dressed up as confidence. It will destroy you faster than any losing streak. When you lose, different demons emerge. That loss feels personal. Your ego is bruised. Now you want revenge on the market, so you take trades that don't meet your criteria just to get back to even. Or the opposite happens, you become terrified. Second, guessing every decision, seeing danger everywhere. You exit winners prematurely because you're desperate to avoid another loss. You skip valid setups because you're convinced this time will be different. This is your fear speaking, masquerading as caution. Then there's hope. The most insidious trader of all, you're in a losing position. Your stop should execute, but you hold, hoping it will reverse. It has to come back, you tell yourself. You watch your small loss become a catastrophic one because you couldn't accept reality. Hope keeps you married to losing trades, while fear kicks you out of winners. The combination is lethal. No strategy accounts for these psychological landmines because they're not market problems, they're human problems. The composite operator doesn't suffer from these afflictions. Not because he's superhuman, but because he's removed human judgment from execution. Here's your solution: create rules that override your brain, predetermined position sizes that never change based on recent results, mandatory breaks after wins and losses, maximum daily trades regardless of how you feel, written checklists for every entry and exit. Make your trading so mechanical that emotions have nowhere to attach themselves. Your mind will sabotage you. Your rules must be stronger than your psychology. The plan must survive contact with real money. Your demo account is flawless. 12 consecutive weeks of profits. Every entry is clean. Every exit is disciplined. You've proven your method works. The statistics are undeniable. 62% win rate, excellent risk-reward ratio. You've backtested across multiple market conditions. Everything checks out. So you fund your live account, transfer real capital, and place your first trade with actual money on the line. Suddenly, your hands are sweating, your heart is pounding. That entry you took without hesitation in the demo, now you're paralyzed, watching the perfect setup slip away. This is the chasm that swallows most traders. The gap between simulated success and real-world execution is where dreams die. Because when it's paper money, when it's hypothetical capital, when nothing real is at stake, you're fearless. You follow your rules perfectly because there's no consequence for being wrong. But the moment actual dollars enter the equation, everything changes. That stop loss isn't just a line on a chart anymore, it's your rent payment. That losing trade isn't just a data point, it's groceries for your family. I've watched brilliant analysts, men who could read the tape better than anyone I knew, completely fall apart when operating with their own capital. Their analysis remained impeccable. Their understanding of market structure was flawless. But when their own money was in play, they couldn't execute. They'd second-guess entries, move stops, exit winners prematurely, take profits too early on runners. Every decision became contaminated by the emotional weight of real financial consequences. Here's the brutal truth. The composite operator, whether it's the large institutions of my era or the algorithmic traders of yours, operates with complete detachment. Not because they don't care about money, but because they've systematized their approach to the point where individual outcomes are irrelevant. They're playing a volume game across hundreds or thousands of positions. One trade means nothing. Your problem is that when you're trading your own capital, especially when you're starting out, each trade means everything. This is why most traders never make it past their first 6 months with real money. They had a system that worked. They had discipline in simulation, but they never prepared for the psychological warfare that begins when actual capital is at risk. The market doesn't change between your demo and live account, you do. Your risk tolerance evaporates. Your discipline crumbles. Your carefully constructed plan gets abandoned at the first sign of real discomfort. So here's what separates professionals from the masses. Start so small that losing doesn't hurt. I'm not talking about being comfortable with losses. I'm talking about position sizes so insignificant that your emotional response is identical to your demo account. If you're trading with money you need for bills, you've already lost. The psychological pressure will override every rule you've created. Build your discipline with real money at stakes that don't trigger emotional responses. Execute your complete system 50 times, 100 times, 500 times until following your plan becomes more instinctive than deviating from it. Only then gradually increase size. The composite operator isn't braver than you. He's simply built a process that survives contact with reality. Your plan must do the same, or it's worthless. Let me leave you with this final truth, one I learned after watching thousands of traders come and go through the markets. The difference between those who built fortunes and those who lost everything was never intelligence. It was never about who had the better strategy, the more sophisticated analysis, or the secret system. Every failed trader I ever knew could tell me exactly what they should have done. They understood accumulation and distribution. They could identify the composite operator's footprints. They knew where to enter, where to place stops, where to take profits. Their knowledge was sufficient. Their execution was non-existent. The market is the greatest character-building institution ever created. It will reveal every flaw in your personality, every weakness in your discipline, every crack in your resolve. It doesn't care about your intelligence. It cares about whether you can do what you said you do when everything inside you screams to do the opposite. Your strategy is probably good enough right now, this very moment. What's not good enough is your ability to follow it under pressure, to execute it consistently, to trust it when it's losing, and to remain humble when it's winning. Stop searching for the perfect method. Stop waiting for the ideal setup. Stop studying more patterns. Start executing the plan you already have with unwavering, mechanical, relentless discipline. One trade at a time. One day at a time. 100 trades, 500 trades, 1,000 trades, following the same rules without deviation. The composite operator will still be here tomorrow, executing his method with the same cold precision he used yesterday. The question is, will you be executing yours, or will you still be searching for something better while your account slowly bleeds away? Discipline isn't everything in this business. It's the only thing. Your strategy is merely the vehicle. Discipline is the engine that drives it forward. Without that engine, the finest vehicle in the world sits motionless while others pass you by. Now stop reading. Start executing.